Okay, let us start the lesson. Today, next I'm going to provide custom directives. So, what is the meaning of directive here? Directive means an user-defined attribute or tag which is created in AngularJS. See, HTML provides some predefined tags or attributes. The attributes or tags, the attributes or tags that are provided by AngularJS are called as custom directives. So whenever an attribute or tag is provided by AngularJS, that is said to be custom directive. That is said to be directive first of all. So suppose in AngularJS we have ng model, ng binder, ng app. These are the directives. Actually, these are the attributes provided by AngularJS. So these are called directives. Okay, similarly, we can create user-defined attributes or user-defined tags also we can create. Those are called custom directives. The directives which are created by the programmer using AngularJS are called as custom directives. What is the main intention of these custom directives? Provide additional functionality which is not available in built-in HTML tag. Suppose there is a tag called p tag. P is meant for paragraph, but for this paragraph, I want to add additional functionality. Suppose I want to perform some calculations and display its result value in this paragraph. Otherwise, I want to call another data and I want to display that data in this paragraph. So, like this, I want to provide some additional functionality in this particular tag. To add additional functionality to a particular tag, we require custom directives. So, and how to create the custom directives, let us try to understand. Okay, custom directives. First, copy paste the angular.js file into current working folder. Then import that angular.js file into the program. After that, creating a module, creating a controller, suppose we have a employees array. Employees array. So this employees array is equal to, we have some set of employees, employee ID 1, employee name Scott, salary 7,000. Like this, we have 4 employees. So these are the employees 2017. Next, now we have the employees 2018, and here this Alain has resigned, but two more employees have been added. So as per employees 2017 array, the data is like this. As per 2018, the data is like this. Now I want to display both data in the output. If it is an array, to read the data from the array and display the same, we can use ng repeat, right? So like that, first apply ng app equal to my module, ng controller equal to what is the controller name? My controller. Now we have a table data. And this tr has to be repeated once for one row in the record. So ng repeat is equal to employee in employees 2017. So that means from this array, I want to read the data one by one and display the same in this tr. In other words, generate the tr once for one record in that array. Here actually we have four objects. So four times the tag will be repeated. Okay, after that, now we can notice the data. Next, same like this, we are going to repeat. Same we are going to repeat for 2018. Same code repeats, just array name change. So maybe suppose we have few years data, maybe 10 years, 20 years data we have. But for every year data, number of rows data values may be different, but structure of the HTML code same only. Same HTML code exactly repeats, only the array name change. So instead of you manually repeat that HTML code, you make it automatically repeated. You write the HTML code only one time, but you can call the same many times. That is the basic idea behind the custom directive. So once you made this particular bunch of the code as a custom directive, we can call the same many times. Just like in programming, if you write a set of statements as a function, you can call the same many times wherever you wish. So how to make it? App.directive. It is used to create a new directive. What is the name of the directive? My directive is the name of the directive. We can give any name. And we have to create a function. So this function defines the my directive. What are the members of the my directive that are decided by this function? In this function, we have to create a temporary object, just like a custom factory. And at last, we have written the same. So we have created one object, right? That object address is stored in the variable temp. So that's why through temp variable you are able to access that object. Temp is not the object. Object is object. It has no name. But that object address is being stored in the variable temp. Then we can access the same everywhere with the variable name. So temp dot. Then we can specify template equal to hello. Okay, just for testing, we have written template equal to hello. That's all. We have created a my directive inside the my module. How it will be added to my module, because we have mentioned app variable, right? App is a variable that is represented in the my module. In that way, my directive created inside the my module. Then how to call that particular my directive? Okay, by writing the directive name here, my directive. So now it became as a custom directive, means custom tag. Now we can notice hello. Exactly what happened, if you can check here, inside the my directive, what tag has been appended? Hello has been appended inside the my directive. So we have defined the my directive here. At runtime in this place, the actual template is coming. Whatever the template you define here, the template is being replaced here. But this approach is suitable for representing the starting data only. For example, you have a meaningful design. Suppose you have a login form design or search form design or some particular form design we have. Means purely a set of HTML code. At that time, giving this template option is good. But assume you want to generate the HTML tags programmatically through some coding, through if conditions, for loops, some calculations, some processing is there. It's not just a pure HTML tags. So whenever you want to mix the design plus programming, you have to go for the next one, that is a link function. In the link function, we can combine the programming logic and the design logic. So avoid this template. Alternatively, link function. This link function will be called by the AngularJS automatically when we call the my directive in the view. Means exactly when you write this type of tag, automatically it will call the link function of the my directive. In this link function, we will have some set of arguments, that is $scope and element. Two arguments it contains, $scope and element. What is meaning of the $scope? $scope is representing the model of the directive. Every custom directive is like a view, and for every view, automatically a model will be created. That model is represented as a $scope. So imagine this particular tag boundary, this tag is itself is a view. For this view, a model is automatically created and is received as a $scope in the link function. And by default, that object is empty. We can add properties, whatever you wish. Next one, element. This argument is representing this particular tag. This current working tag is represented as which one? Element. These two are the meanings of the respective arguments. Now what do you want to exactly do? Element dot HTML means inside the particular tag, whatever the data you want to display, you can write here. For example, I'm writing P hello. Now we can see once again hello. Just for understanding, I'm writing hello world. Notice here also output is what? Hello world. What exactly happened? Whatever you written inside the element.html function, this part of the text will be automatically added here inside the my directive. Here that data will be replaced because that variable element representing this my directive tag, inside that you want to display something, so you can display some data inside the tag by using html function. Okay, but still this is a static data. How to use dynamic data? Dynamic data means retrieving data from a particular source such as database and displaying the same. But in this case I want to pass the data from this place. Okay, this data I want to pass there. Implies 2017 data I want to pass. See, this particular data is directly accessible in this view, right? This is totally the view because we have given ng controller. Ng controller means creating a view. Inside the view, we can access the model. So what are the members we have added to this dollar scope? All these are by default by birth accessible in this particular div tag. So here, how to pass the data? Just we had to give some variable name. For example, EMPs equal to, here we have to give a name of the array which data I want to pass to that. Employees 2017. This one is the actual array which data I want to pass to the directive. And this variable name can be anything. And how to receive it there? In the definition of the main directive, just I will give scope is equal to empty object. Means this empty object is taken as a dollar scope. Means suppose we have added A, B, some properties we have added. This A and B is now accessible inside the dollar scope. Okay, dollar scope dot A means 10, dollar scope dot B equal to 20. Like that you are able to pass. But in this situation, I want to pass the data whichever you pass through the variable EMPs. This variable value, this array should be received there. Then what to do? We should give another name. Suppose employees is which type? Equal to EMPs. Means simple. You have assigned employees 2017 into the variable EMPs, right? That is being received here, and the same is being assigned into which one? Employees. That become as a model. That model only accessible in the dollar scope. So that's why you can write dollar scope dot employees. So that's why dollar scope dot employees is equal to employees 2017 here. And that data you want to display. For example, dollar scope dot employees of 0 dot empid. We are displaying employee ID of the first employee in the employees 2017. That is which one? 1. First employee ID equal to 1. Like in the same way, we are able to access anything. So dollar scope means model. Inside that model, we have an array called employees. That is refers to employees 2017. In that, which object you want to get? The first object. That's for 0. In that first object, what data exactly you want to print? Employee ID. That's why we got the output 1. Based on the same syntax, you can repeat a number of times to get a number of records. Now I want to read the data in a loop. So what should we have to do? Okay, now the for loop is required. How many times it should execute? Direct scope that implies dot length means how many times, how many records are there, that many times it has to execute. And each time it has to generate one tr. So element.html, better, let's create a variable. In that variable, table border equal to 1, yes, plus equal to means append the data, add the extra data. Already it contains a table tag. You're extending with the next tr tag. Next, after that, s plus equal to, here a new tr tag has to be repeated. Direct scope dot employees of I dot empid. Emp name and salary. So we have been generating a number of tr tags, and at last table tag has to be generated. And this particular data, the table tag tr slash table, all these table tags have been appended to which variable? Yes. How to display the same element.html of yes? Here element means what? This particular current working tag itself is element. Inside that, as a inner HTML, we append in that s, which includes the table tag. Finally, you can expect the table data has been generated. This table has been printed through directive. So we don't require this remaining two tables, right? So we can remove this ng repeat. As a replacement for that only, we have already created a directive. So that we can repeat the same many times simply by giving the array name. Directly we can print it. Now same output we got. So code is simplified here. Write that a table logic only one time, but you can execute the same many times with the different data. Okay, now I want to provide the caption appropriately. In the caption, if you just mention, if you mention like this, caption employees 2017. If you mention like this, for both tables it is displaying the same fixed caption. I want to pass the caption from the tag, and it should be received in the directive. In the tag we are passing the value for the a value for the attribute, and that is being received in the directive. So how to pass? Here we have to pass like some name, for example my caption equal to employees 2017. So this my caption is a user defined variable name. You can give any name in that place. For example, we have written my caption equal to employees 2017. And in this case, employees 2018. Like this, you can pass every year data. That means first array will go to employees. Next array will go to employees. But printing logic is same. And here we can pass how to receive that attributes by writing a third argument attributes. This particular third variable or third argument represents the attributes that are provided by the directive. Here, which one is required? My caption is required. So attributes dot my caption you can write. Now you can notice caption is being changed. Next, this directive can be used in two ways. As a tag we can use or as an attribute also we can use. Presently we are using the same as a normal tag. But how to convert the same into an attribute? Suppose we have a div tag, then I will do same my directive all these things. That's all. It's such a simple. So just you can have any tag, and inside that you can just give space. Then you can go with a direct name and other values. This one is the second way. See, second way printed by using this syntax. So first one is a directive is a tag. Second case, directive is an attribute of the div tag. So directive can be either tag or attribute also. So sometimes what will you do in real time? You want to provide a restriction, like only it should be used as a directive, or only it should be used as a custom tag, or only it should be used as a custom attribute, etc. For example, can we give ng model as a tag? I mean, I want to write like this. Can we write like that? No, we cannot write. We cannot write because it is used as a tag. That means element. But it should be used as an attribute of the other tag. So sometimes you want to provide a restriction. This must be used with this format only. Means as a tag only it should work, or as an attribute also it can work, or only attribute or only tag. We have different options. How do you mention that? If you don't specify any restriction, by default it can be used as a attribute or it can be used as a tag also. By default, no restriction. So if you provide the restriction like with the help of temp dot restrict equal to e or a or ea e for element. Whenever we want to use the word directive as an element only, you just give e. Now as a element it should work, not as an attribute. See, In this case, my directive is an element. In this case also my directive is what? Element. So we can use it as a element, no problem. But we cannot use it as a attribute. Means this one is not allowed. This one will not work. See, second one is not working. Okay, this is one option. Now you want to execute it as an attribute only. Then what to do? A. A for attribute. E for element. A for attribute. As an attribute now it can be used, but not as a tag. See, now only as an attribute it is working. Means the second one only working. Next, AB means both are allowed. AE means both are allowed. Or E also same. Both are allowed. As an element it should work, or as an attribute also it should work. That is a custom directive. So that's all about this. Any doubts in this? Okay, just 2 minutes, I will come back. Okay, so we have completed the custom directive. Next one, custom providers, we are going to check. Custom provider means a configurable item is called as custom provider. First, what is the meaning of configuration? Whatever you write inside the app.config function, that is a configuration. Generally, every device, every operating system, or every application requires some configuration settings. For example, you take any a TV, you take for example. When you switch on the TV, immediately will it start functioning? No. It would take at least 5 to 6 seconds to make the TV start up properly. In this 5 to 6 seconds of time, what's going on in your TV? First, the TV will switch on, will check all the devices connected to it, all the devices were correctly working on it, it will check, and then after that, it will load the settings. What are the settings? Like a current volume, current brightness, current contrast, current source. Is it in HDMI 1 or HDMI 2 or VG, or in which source previously it was switched off? To that source it will go, and it will go to other settings such as the audio output or video mode. I mean, it's a VV dot, it's a different modes are available now. Movie, uh, text, different things are there. So overall, all these settings are loaded into the memory. Once after loading the settings only, it will start functioning actually. Then only actual picture and the sound will come. So similarly in application also, whenever the user has sent a request to the application, first it has to load the settings. That settings are defined inside the app.config function. AngularJS application settings are defined in the app.config function. But inside that app.config function, each setting written must be a provider. For example, in my app.config function, we are writing 10 settings. That means I'm using 10 respective custom providers. Each setting must be a provider. In real-time applications, settings are like current working Ajax URLs, default server name, default port number, default mail address, and any security keys if you are using any, if you are connecting to any third-party websites. Like this, any kind of global settings that are applicable for any controller, all the controllers in the entire application. It's a project level setting. The project level settings are called as configuration settings here. That configuration settings are represented as a custom providers. Those custom providers can be used in the app.config. So in this app.config, we will call provider.set function. Whenever we have given provider.set function, then if you provide any value, then in the custom provider, the corresponding set function will execute. First, a variable will be there. In that variable, we can store the value, and there will be set function. Here, what happened? Store value into variable. Set function is store the value into variable is a set function. So whenever application execution started, automatically before the actual code execution, it will go to app.config file. After loading the settings of this app.config file, means after finishing execution of the app.config only, it will go to the actual controller and actual view. So this will be executed early stage of the actual controller execution. That's why, so here inside this we have written provider.set to value. It will go to set function. Then that value will be copied into the variable. Now that value has been stored in the variable. We can retrieve the same later. How we retrieve? We will retrieve the value through a controller. After execution of the custom provider, it will execute which one? Controller. What this controller will do, it will call the get function. This get function will go, okay, here is the get function, and this get function will return the value. So this get function will return the value. What this get function will do, it will fetch the data from variable. It will fetch the data from variable, and the same will be returned back here. So check this. Custom provider is a custom setting that can be configured in app.config. All the configuration settings of the application are written inside the app.config function only. But in order to write a setting in the app.config, you must declare it as a custom provider. Okay, for example, in your application, the Ajax address or the server URL, you want to use it as a custom setting in app.config. So first you must declare it as a provider, and that provider can be used in the app.config. And this app.config function will automatically execute before execution of any controller. At the time of application loading time itself, it has to be executed. So inside this provider.set value, so we are setting, that means storing the value inside a variable, and in the controller we're going to use a get function to retrieve the value from the variable. First we will call get function. That get function will go to the variable and fetch its value and return the same, so that we can receive it to the controller. Then we can do any manipulations on that. This type of configurable settings are nothing but custom directives, custom providers. Okay, check the program. Okay, so we have just created a basic thing. I want to create a module. Inside that module, a controller. Name of the controller is, name of the module is my module. Name of the controller is my controller. For example, we have written good morning is a message. And we have displayed the same. We have assigned a value, right? The same has been displayed there. So we got the output good morning. But I want to make this configured in the app.config. Once it is configured, in entire application, the same setting works. But how to configure it? add app.config function. In this function, you want to configure, but in order to make it really configured, you must make it as a provider. Only providers accessible in the app.config. In the app.config, the only one possible is providers. No other, like factory, services, value component, no others can be accessible in the app.config. Only providers accessible. Then what will you do? You will make it as a provider. App.provider. Sample is the name of the provider. We can give any other name. Then function. Then in this one, we are able to declare a variable first. Some x equal to some x. We have just declared a variable. And in order to set value into this variable, one function is required. In order to get the value from this variable, another function is required. Set function, get function. Setting means storing the value into the variable. Getting means retrieving value from the variable. So what will you do? This dot set x equal to function. This dot x equal to some value we are receiving. Assume some value. That value is being assigned into x. It can be good evening or good afternoon. Whatever the message you want to display, that value is that the same data is available in value argument. The same is being assigned to x. Next, the same like this, I want to provide a get function. Dollar get equal to function. There we have to return an object. In this object, get x. Okay, dollar get. This function, in this dollar get, in this function, whatever the object you return, this object will be as it is given to the controller. In the dollar get function, you must return an object. Whatever the members of that object will be as it is given to the controller. In other words, what methods you want to call in the controller, that should be present in this object. So here get function only present. We must return the value of the variable. Okay, this object is accessible in the controller, that's why we have given $get. These set functions are accessible through app.config. So that's why app.config requires the set functions only, but not get functions. Then we must write the provider name. What is the provider name? We have given sample, followed by a fixed name provider. Here provider is a fixed name here. Suppose provider name ABC. Then you should write ABC provider. Provider name XYZ. Then you should write a XYZ provider. Any appropriate name you can give. Then set X of good afternoon. So this value, whatever you give, that will be received by the variable value. The same will be stored in the variable X. Then same we can print here. Auto printer here, provider name sample. Then you must say sample dot get X. So like this, the get functions are called in the controller, set functions are called in the configuration. So once you store the value as per configuration, throughout the entire application lifetime, the value will be written same as it is. And we cannot change the value from the controller. We cannot change the value from the controller. We can just only retrieve the value. But if you want to make any changes, we can only change in the app.config function. Except the app.config, in no other place we can change the value of the particular variable. So okay, wait is not executing. Just it is not working. Function return. Okay, okay. This dot we have written. This dot is not correct. Okay, now we can notice good afternoon. Like this, whatever we have initialized in the app.config, that can be reused in among many controllers. In a large scale application, thousands of controllers will create. So that many times we can use that same provider once it is created. The basic idea behind custom value, custom directive, custom filter, and all these things, reusability. Create once, call many times. Okay, so this is about the custom providers. Okay, any doubts in this custom providers?
Yeah, I'm okay, but I need lot of practice.
Okay, yeah, go through the video and do practice. And I think I have given you the material already. Just go through it.
Yeah, Harsha, yesterday you were saying something, the content, right? You have shown something like, yeah, like a book. So do I get that?
That is a material. The PDF file contains the material. That link already has sent to you.
Oh, it's not there. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I think okay, I will check again. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So only remaining, very few concepts available. That concepts you can complete in the next class. So what happened? So tomorrow we don't have class. Tomorrow no class, and next class will be on Tuesday, India time Tuesday. So no class tomorrow, day after tomorrow, and again other day. 3 days don't class. We don't have class. So next class will be on Tuesday, India time morning, 6 a.m. We'll have class as usual. So there we'll continue this remaining part of AngularJS. Okay. So do practice, and we'll continue in the next class. Thank you.
One question, Harsha.
Yeah.
Is AngularJS 2 a little bit easier than this, right?
AngularJS,
Like,
present AngularJS 1 means from first to last also same pinch, medium difficulty. It's not that much easy. It's not very
mm,
hard. It's medium difficulty. So
oh,
AngularJS 2 and 4 starting time
mhm,
feels little bit difficult only. Like everything
yeah,
new, everything complete new environment. Once you understand the
right.
first example, once you can execute the first hello world example, then rest of the
Mhm.
things are easy only.
Yeah, I found I have seen some videos for AngularJS 2. I think I found it is easier than AngularJS 1.
Huh. So once you understand the environment, first example you finish correctly, carefully,
Yeah,
then the second
yeah,
example onwards it seems easy one.
easy. Okay, okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay.